An old U.S. $1 coin from the 1800s or early 1900s might not look like a treasure, but collectors would disagree. Coins dated 1875, other years from the 1800s, and even 1925 continue to attract attention from collectors searching for historic dollar coins. Most people see an old coin and think it's just a souvenir. But sometimes the coins that have survived for more than a century become the ones collectors want the most. So if you have an old U.S. $1 coin tucked away somewhere, don't overlook it too quickly. Like and subscribe for more hidden coin discoveries and valuable finds. In 1875, the United States was striking a silver dollar that was not created for ordinary pocket change the way most people imagine. It was the trade dollar, a heavy silver coin designed for international commerce, especially trade with Asia, where large silver coins were already trusted in business. At first glance, an 1875 US $1 coin may look like an old silver piece with history, wear, and age. But when a genuine mint error appears on a coin like this, the story becomes much more serious. The normal 1875 trade dollar was designed by William Barber. On the front, Liberty sits with a branch in one hand, surrounded by stars and the date. On the back, an eagle spreads its wings with the denomination shown as $1. A normal coin should weigh about 27.20 grams, measure about 38.10 millimeters, have a reeded edge, and contain 90% silver and 10% copper. That weight is extremely important, because with old silver dollars, weight is one of the first clues collectors use to separate normal coins, worn coins, damaged coins, altered coins, and possible wrong planchet or counterfeit pieces. Most normal 1875 trade dollars are collectible because they are old, silver, and part of a historic series. But that does not mean everyone is a fortune. A worn normal example may still have numismatic value, but its price depends heavily on condition, mint mark, surface quality, originality, and whether the coin is genuine. With trade dollars, authentication matters even more because the series has been heavily counterfeited for many years. The error version is where the excitement begins. A genuine error on an 1875 US $1 coin would not be just a random scratch, stain, dent, or cleaning mark. It would need to be something that happened during the minting process itself. That could include an off-center strike, a clipped planchet, a die crack, a rotated die, a doubled die, a strike-through, a wrong planchet, or another dramatic mint-made abnormality. The difference is simple but powerful. Damage happens after the coin leaves the mint, while a true mint error is born during production. Imagine the mint in the 1870s. Heavy silver planchets are prepared, weighed, and fed into powerful presses. The dies come down with intense pressure, forcing Liberty and the eagle into the metal. Most coins leave the press looking the way they should. But if a planchet is incomplete, if a die cracks, if something comes between the die and the coin, or if the blank is not properly centered, a mistake can be struck permanently into the silver. That is the kind of mistake collectors want to study. This is why a normal versus error comparison is so important. A normal 1875 trade dollar should have the correct weight, correct diameter, correct silver composition, normal edge, and complete design. A genuine error coin may show a missing curved section from a clipped planchet, design shifted away from the center, raised die crack lines, unusual doubling, or evidence of a strike-through. But if the mark is carved into the coin, looks like a hit, appears polished, or seems caused by corrosion, it may be post-mint damage and that can destroy value instead of creating it. Now here is the part that makes collectors pause. For major authenticated error examples, high-end estimates may be discussed in ranges like $55,160 to $138,350. But this range does not apply to a normal circulated 1875 $1 coin, and it does not apply to cleaned, damaged, altered, or unverified pieces. It would only make sense if the coin has a genuine, dramatic, professionally authenticated mint error, strong eye appeal, serious rarity, and documentation that supports collector demand. Verified auction history also shows why caution matters. Trade dollars can sell for strong money in high grades or rare varieties, but the price depends on the exact coin. PCGS records show that dramatic values exist in the trade dollar series, such as rare high-grade examples from other dates and mints, but that does not automatically transfer to every 1875 coin. For this exact 1875 US $1 error claim, public verified records at extreme levels are limited unless the coin is professionally certified and clearly identified by error type. If you find one, start with the basics. Weigh it carefully. Check if it is close to 27.20 grams. Measure the diameter. Inspect the reeded edge. Look at Liberty, the stars, the date, the eagle, and the lettering under strong light. Compare it with verified normal examples. A small weight difference can happen from wear, but a major difference could point to a counterfeit, alteration, or a serious planchet problem. That is why no one should judge this coin from one blurry photo. And whatever you do, do not clean it. Old silver coins often look dark, toned, or uneven, but cleaning can leave hairlines and permanently reduce collector interest. If the coin appears unusual, take clear photos of both sides and the edge, then show it to a reputable coin dealer, a local coin show expert, a grading service, or a recognized auction house. Major authenticated pieces may be better suited for professional auctions, while lower value coins can be researched through verified sold listings and trusted dealers. Before selling too fast, remember this: if your 1875 US $1 coin is normal, damaged, or not authenticated, it is not in the high-end conversation. But if it carries a genuine, dramatic, professionally verified mint error, then estimates may reach the $55,160 to $138,350 range depending on the error type, grade, rarity, proof, and collector demand. This coin proves that old silver is only the beginning of the story. The real question is whether the coin is simply historic, or whether it carries a mint-made mistake that survived for nearly 150 years. And the next coin in this video has a detail that looks much smaller at first, but for collectors, that tiny clue can change everything. Now look at this 1925 silver dollar closely, because one mistake on a coin this old can turn a historic piece into something collectors do not ignore. After the first coin, we move into a different kind of mystery, the 1925 US $1, better known to collectors as the 1925 peace dollar. This is not modern pocket change. This is a heavy silver coin from a time when a dollar felt like real money, when silver still carried weight in the hand, and when America was trying to tell a new story after World War I. The peace dollar was first introduced in 1921, created to symbolize peace after the war. On the front, Liberty wears a radiant crown, almost like the sun rising behind her. On the back, an eagle rests on a mountain, with the word peace below. By 1925, millions of these coins were being struck, and the Philadelphia Mint produced over 10 million examples that year. That means the normal 1925 peace dollar is not automatically rare just because it is old or silver. A normal 1925 peace dollar should weigh about 26.73 grams, measure 38.10 millimeters, have a reeded edge, and contain 90% silver and 10% copper. These details matter because they give collectors a baseline. If the weight is correct, the diameter is correct, the edge is normal, and the coin only shows ordinary wear, then it may simply be a normal circulated peace dollar. Collectible, yes. Historic, yes. But not automatically a major error coin. The error version is where the story changes. A genuine mint error on a 1925 peace dollar would mean something went wrong during production, before the coin ever left the mint. It could be an off-center strike, a clipped planchet, a strike-through, a die crack, a rotated die, or another visible mint-made mistake. On a large silver dollar, these errors can be especially dramatic because the coin has more surface area, more design space, and more metal to reveal the mistake. But here is the warning: scratches, dents, cleaning, polishing, corrosion, rim hits, and old damage are not the same as mint errors. A coin can look strange after nearly a century of handling. It may have been dropped, cleaned, buried, stored in a bad holder, or scratched by someone who did not understand its value. That kind of damage can make the coin look unusual, but it usually hurts value instead of helping it. A true error has to match the minting process. Imagine the silver planchet being fed into the press. The dies come down with enormous pressure, striking Liberty on one side and the eagle on the other. Most coins come out normal. But if the planchet is not centered correctly, part of the design may be missing. If debris gets between the die and the coin, a strike-through may leave a strange weak area. If the die cracks, raised lines can appear on the surface. If the coin is struck with rotated dies, the front and back may not line up correctly when flipped. That is why the normal versus error difference is so important. A normal 1925 piece dollar may have value because of silver content, age, condition, and grade. But a genuine error can be much rarer because far fewer coins leave the mint with clear mistakes, and even fewer survive with the error visible and the surfaces original. Now this is where collectors become cautious but interested. For dramatic, authenticated error examples, high-end estimates may be discussed in the range of $40,280 to $118,400. That range does not apply to a normal circulated 1925 piece dollar, clean coins, damaged coins, polished coins, or unverified online listings. It only belongs in the conversation if the coin has a genuine, major, professionally authenticated mint error, strong eye appeal, serious rarity, and documentation that supports collector demand. Verified records also show why authentication matters. PCGS lists the normal 1925 Philadelphia piece dollar is very common in circulated grades, but related piece dollar records can still be impressive when rarity and condition line up. For example, a 1925 piece dollar graded PCGS MS65 Plus sold through Heritage Auctions in 2022 for $132,000. That sale was not for a normal 1925p error coin, but it proves how date, mint mark, condition, certification, and demand can completely change the value story. If you believe you have a 1925 piece dollar error, start with the basics. Weigh it carefully. It should be close to 26.73 grams. Check the diameter. Look at the edge. Inspect Liberty's face, the rays, the date, the eagle, the lettering, and the word piece. Flip the coin to check for rotation. Look for raised die cracks, missing design areas, or signs of a real strike problem. Then compare it with verified examples, not random social media claims. And do not clean it. Old silver can tone, darken, or look uneven, but cleaning leaves marks that experienced collectors recognize immediately. If the coin looks unusual, take clear photos of both sides and the edge, then show it to a reputable coin dealer, local coin show expert, grading service, or major auction house. Online marketplaces can be useful for research, but asking prices are not proof of value. Sold records matter. Before selling too fast, remember this: if your 1925 piece dollar is normal, damaged, or unverified, it is not in the high-end conversation. But if it carries a genuine, dramatic, professionally authenticated mint error, then high-end discussions may reach the $40,280 to $118,400 range depending on error type, grade, rarity, proof, and collector demand. So the real question is not just whether the coin is old. The question is whether the mistake is real. And the final coin in this video may look even more ordinary at first glance, but one hidden detail can make collectors lean in for a much closer look. Before you put away a 1921 silver dollar, look closely at Liberty's hair, the eagle, and the edge, because this coin was difficult to strike from the very beginning. Now we arrive at the third and final coin in this video, the 1921 US $1, known to collectors as the 1921 high relief piece dollar. This is not just another old silver coin. It is the first year of the piece dollar series, a coin created after World War I to symbolize a new era, a new hope, and a nation trying to place the word peace directly into the hands of the public. On the obverse, Liberty faces left with rays rising from her crown. On the reverse, an eagle rests on a rock, with the word peace below. The design looks calm, powerful, and historic. But behind that beautiful design was a serious minting problem. The 1921 piece dollar was struck in high relief, meaning the design stood higher above the surface than later issues. That made the coin dramatic to look at, but harder to strike properly. A normal 1921 piece dollar should weigh about 26.73 grams, measure about 38.10 millimeters, have a reeded edge, and contain 90% silver and 10% copper. It was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and just over 1 million were made. That is a much smaller mintage than many later piece dollars, which already makes normal examples collectible. But normal collectible and genuine mint error are two different things. A normal coin may show wear, soft detail, dark toning, bag marks, or weak areas from the high relief design. Those features can be common for this issue. In fact, many 1921 piece dollars show weakness in Liberty's hair or the eagle's feathers because the design did not always strike fully. That kind of weakness can affect grade and value, but it is not automatically a mint error worth a fortune. The error version is where collectors start asking deeper questions. A genuine error on a 1921 piece dollar would need to show a mint-made abnormality, not ordinary age or damage. It could be a clipped planchet, an off-center strike, a rotated die, a strong die crack, a strike-through, lamination, or another visible problem that happened during production. On a large silver coin like this, those errors can look dramatic because the surface is wide, the design is bold, and the metal is heavy. But this coin is dangerous for beginners because damage can look exciting. A rim hit can look like a mint flaw. Cleaning lines can look like texture. A scratch can be mistaken for a die crack. Toning can be mistaken for a metal error. And weak strike, especially on this high relief issue, can be confused with missing design. That is why the normal versus error comparison matters so much. Start with the weight. A genuine normal 1921 piece dollar should be close to 26.73 grams. If the coin is far lighter or heavier, that does not automatically prove a rare error. It could mean wear, alteration, damage, or even a counterfeit. But it is still a clue that deserves closer inspection. Then check the diameter, the edge, Liberty's hair, the rays, the date, the eagle's feathers, the word piece, and the alignment between the front and back. Now here is the value moment that makes this coin worth slowing down for. For major authenticated error examples, high-end estimates may be discussed in the range of $42,480 to $122,500. But this range does not apply to a normal circulated 1921 piece dollar, a clean coin, a scratched coin, a weakly struck ordinary example, or an unverified online listing. It only belongs in the conversation if the coin has a genuine, dramatic, professionally authenticated mint error with strong condition, rarity, visual appeal, and documentation. Verified records show how important certification is. PCGS lists the 1921 piece dollar as one of the scarcer piece dollars in both circulated and mint state condition, and it notes that strike weakness is common because of the high relief. PCGS also records a 1921 piece dollar VAM3 line through L variety in MS66 selling through heritage auctions in 2020 for $5,160. That is a verified variety sale, not proof that every $1,921 is worth thousands, but it shows how a recognized feature, high grade, and certification can change collector demand. If you think you have an error, do not clean the coin. Old silver can turn gray, gold, blue, or even nearly black from natural toning. That may be part of its originality. Cleaning can leave hairlines and destroy value before a professional ever sees it. Instead, take clear photos of both sides and the edge. Weigh it on a digital scale. Compare it with verified examples. Look for raised metal, missing design caused by strike-through, clear planchet problems, or rotation that can be measured. If the coin looks serious, show it to a reputable coin dealer, a local coin show expert, a professional grading service, or a major auction house. For lower value examples, online marketplaces can help with research, but only completed sales matter. Asking prices are not proof. Someone can list a coin for almost anything, verified sold records are what collectors trust. And before you sell too fast, remember this: if your 1921 piece dollar is normal, weakly struck, cleaned, damaged, or unverified, it is not in the high-value error conversation. But if it carries a genuine, dramatic, professionally authenticated mint error, then high-end discussions may reach the $42,480 to $122,500 range depending on error type, grade, rarity, proof, and real collector demand. So check the weight, study the relief, inspect the edge, and never judge this coin from one quick glance. The 1921 piece dollar already carries history, silver, and symbolism, but if the mistake is real, that history can become far more powerful. If this video helped you, comment the coin you want checked next, and always remember, sometimes the most valuable clue is the one most people never stop to examine.